Hi, I'm Harpreet Chana. I'm the founder of the Mental Wealth Academy, and this week's Wellbeing Wednesday is all about stress and our natural stress reaction. Now, the reason I wanted to cover this is that we've just had the news that we are facing another national lockdown for at least 6-7 weeks. And of course, the first reaction for most people will be that stress reaction, fight or flight. And we've seen in the media in the last couple of days that actually most people are feeling either angry, indignant, or hopeless about the whole situation. And it's really easy to understand why when we have already gone through 10 months of real pain and struggle trying to get through the lockdown period, not being able to see our family, not having schools open everywhere, having to work on the front line, losing loved ones. It's been a really, really difficult 10-month period or so. And now to be faced with another 2 months of lockdown when it's cold and it's dark and we don't have Christmas to look forward to, it's a really, really difficult time. This country struggles enough with seasonal affective disorder affecting our mood, and we have that now on top of lockdown to contend with. So I wanted to cover the stress reaction because for the majority of us, we will have felt the anger or the hopelessness, and it's about moving on from that initial stress reaction to something that is more positive and helpful overall. You might be wondering, what on earth are you talking about, Harpreet? Well, the thing is, once we can recognise that we are in that stress reaction mode, whether it is anger, whether it is hopelessness, we can then start to move on and think more positively. And this is the real key in dealing with this period for the next few months. It's about being able to employ our positive thinking. And so I'm going to invite you to, rather than think about how difficult it is, how difficult it's going to be, how hard it's going to be, if we can try and shift that thinking away from how difficult and how hard it is to actually how grateful we are for the things that we do have, rather than focusing on the things that we might not have. So yes, it is hard at the moment that we're not seeing loved ones, that we're not able to go out, that we're not able to enjoy the things that we want to do. But instead of focusing on the lack of things, I want you to try and focus on the things that we do have, the things that are good, the things that we do have in our lives that are keeping us happy and healthy at the moment. And one of the ways that we can do that is to practice daily gratitude. And I've talked about this in one of my previous videos, but it's so key. Practicing gratitude is the best way to naturally raise your own vibration and your own energy levels to something much more positive. And it's the best way when you're starting to feel down, when you're starting to feel hopeless, when you're starting to feel angry and frustrated at the situation, to try and recognize that in yourself and snap out of it by immediately changing the focus away from the negative to something positive by thinking about something that you are truly grateful for. I practice this numerous times a day, and it really is the best way to avoid falling into that spiral, that downward spiral of negative thinking that just brings you down and completely destroys the positive outlook you might have on life. The best way to employ this is the minute you start to feel yourself thinking in that negative way, try and catch yourself in that moment and say to yourself, no, I'm not having it. I refuse to think like this, and straight away think of something that you are truly grateful for. And it can be the smallest thing. It could be the air in your healthy lungs. It could be the fact that we're not unwell. It could be the fact that you have loved ones in your life. And yes, you might not be able to see them, but at least you can video call them. At least you can speak to them, and at least they are there for you. There are numerous things that we really can be grateful for. And I think particularly in this current climate, it's really easy to forget those simple things that we have and we take for granted every single day because the outlook is so negative at the moment. It's going to be a hard few months. We know that. We knew that in the last lockdown, that this really wasn't the end of it and there was more to come. And we don't know, in reality, we don't know when this lockdown period is really going to end and when we see an end to this whole pandemic. So I'm going to invite you to change that thinking now. Start practicing that daily gratitude. Start shifting your focus away from the negative to a positive and what we're truly grateful for. And I promise you, you won't fall into that pit of despair of negative thinking. It will be the best thing that you can do for yourself to snap out of it and start thinking more positively going forward. That's it for this week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week for the next Wednesday Wellbeing tip.